Okay, so today we will try to prove what is sine rule. Okay, now why sine rule? What is the reason? And you can see in the formula, what do you see all the time? Do you see? Sin, sin, sin. That's why it is called sine rule. So the question is, where did this formula come from? And that's what we'll see. You see a triangle. So the three vertices are A, B, C, which represent angles also. You see the color coding. The green color is the B, and the blue is C, and black is C. That's why I use the lowercase as lowercase a stands for the side that's opposite to the uppercase, right? So this lowercase b is opposite to uppercase angle, and the lowercase c represent the side length, that length. So far, earlier class, we have seen, you saw, we always had a 90 degree, right? If there was a tree here or a building and you see there was a sun, the sun makes a shadow of this tree. So this becomes the shadow, this is 90, and you are given one angle, maybe 37 degrees, and how to find the height of the tree, building, and we have seen that, yes? Did we see that last time? So what's the difference between that triangle and this triangle?
That's a right.
Say it again.
That's a right triangle?
So this is a right triangle, right? So can we use Pythagorean formula right here, or those those problems that we did last classes? Can we use that over here? No, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Do we have a 90 degrees here? No. So if it is not 90, we can't do nothing. But can we use something else? And that's why we say, oh, okay, the mathematics started, we can figure out what is this. Now in order to really prove that, I'll use a red color marker. So take your pen, a ruler, and drop a perpendicular from C. So from C. So from this C. Okay, so from C, let's drop a perpendicular. Because we do know we can split the whole triangle into two triangles, two right triangles. Agree, yes or no? Okay. And then we are going to use the sine of an angle. How do we define sine? So drop a perpendicular, call it, let's see this point, let's call it D. And because, what do you call this, the orange color, Hugo? What is the name for that? What is that called, CD? What is CD called? It's height, right? How high is the triangle? Is there another word you remember? You start with A, then L, altitude. How do you remember that? Yeah, the height, altitude is basically like how high. So that's can we use only for the left side? See, I'm trying to split this into two triangles. The first one is, like, it's a smaller one. Let's see. I copy paste it right here. And the question, this is B. And I'll call this at H. Can you call this at H? The height of the sine. Can we use H and use the sine rule? Can I use, not sine rule, I'm sorry. Can we use, how do we find the height here for this one? So imagine we did know what is B, so how do I figure out H? If this angle, black angle is A, right? Of course, they didn't give us no numbers, right? Just think that the angle A is you known, okay, this is known. Let's put it like that. This B also is known, and you can see it's almost like 70 degrees here. Maybe this is like 7 inches. Doesn't matter. But my question is, if this is known, can we figure out unknown? And how do you do that? Quickly, somebody help. Natali, do we use sine? So can we use this so kato? So which one is the better option? sine, because everywhere there is sine, so just a sine. Now, which sine of angle are we'll take is the angle A here. Right here, I'm using the left one. See the left one? That's the main one. I don't want to mess up that nice, beautiful triangle that I drawn. Right? I just want to play with it here. So I try to take the left smaller triangle, and then use the sine rule for that. So let's write it nicely. So we'll say sine of angle A. So we know sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. This we do know, right? Everybody knows, right? So that's the angle that I picked is A. So sine of the black angle equal. What's the opposite there? What's the opposite side here for this triangle? H. Agree? You guys agree? H is H is the height. So let's put in the orange color. Divide by. And what's the hypotenuse here? Yeah. So this is the opposite, right? The side that does not touch the angle is the opposite, and the hypotenuse is the one that is opposite to 90 degrees. Agree? Nobody say yes. Okay, so that part is blue. Sorry, the green one. See, I'll put a green color. Let's put this. Is that agree? So B. Okay, and now this is a process. The reasoning is I want to get H from here. I want to get H from the other triangle, and then I try to equate it and see what happens. Okay. So this. I want to solve for H. How do I solve for H? Solve for H. What do you do? So if I want to solve for H, how do I do that? What's the account number? Bank account. See? Jaslyn, he's answering. You are not answering. He's answering from there. Okay. So multiply. Thank you. Really appreciate. Multiply both side by. I can use the blue color and just multiply. This, the green B multiply this side, multiply this side. Can you write down? Quick step. So B, we can cross out. This B divided by B is 1, right? So we get, so what you end up getting is H is, so I'm gonna write H is B sine of angle A. Okay, put it in the box, that's important. And likewise, we will also, so I'm done with this triangle, right? So we'll use another triangle, the smaller one, the right side, okay? We'll try to do the same thing for angle B. So let me take off this. And in your notebook, can you draw the smaller triangle on the right side? So, the orange color, let me use. So I'm using this one. And then the black one. Okay. And the blue one. Is that okay? So let's write quickly. That's C. That's the A. Sorry, this is D, 90 degrees. And that is the green one, B. So this time we use the angle B now. See, in the first case, this is step number 1. Let's write step 1. Okay? And the step 2, so step 2, what is the step 2? Which angle, how do I start here for this one? Come on, guys. Jocelyn?
I know. What's the question?
My question is, see how I started case, the first step 1? And we ended up with the box, right? Can we do the same thing for another angle, like Now see the first one was the first triangle that we used was this one, remember? The smaller one, skinny one. Now we are working with this other one. So this was C, D, A and D. That was the first one, right? So now we are done with this. I don't want that, no more. So can we work out there?
It'd be sine
Sine.
of that thing.
So what is the theta? Theta, this one, which one we should take theta here?
Yeah, it would be sine of B.
Yeah, the other way. Can you see? Natali? See, I know we will be solving problems and that will be so easy. But it's always good to know this. So I'm going to write sine the B. So put the angle is B equals, and sine is opposite hypotenuse. I won't write this step. Can we write directly what is sine B? What's the, so for this angle, remember this is H, right? So that's H. Agree, yes or no? So this, this is H, right? So that's the opposite. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And that's the, and the hypotenuse is A. So look at the same thing, the black color A. So that's the A. This is the H, right? So we don't have nothing to do with here. So sine B, what should I write?
H over it.
Opposite is H divided by, what's the hypotenuse?
A.
A lowercase here. Let's say it lowercase, the black color. And then as Hugo said, solve for H again, exactly like this. So I said solve for H. So what do you multiply this time? Yeah, you multiply the A on both sides, this side, and you multiply A this side. So this A crosses out, and you end up getting H equals A sine B, the green B, okay? You put this in the box. Is that okay? Now, we are almost there. So using the other triangle, so what do you notice of these two boxes? What do you notice about the two boxes?
That the A and the B are flipped. So in one of them, the A is the angle and the B is the side, and then on the other one, it's the opposite.
Okay, so you see that B and A and A. Yeah, that's a cool thing. And then do you see this H here, both orange? So the left side is the same. So what we do next is, so if both are H, the first one speaks about the height, right? Second also speaks about the same height, the same orange color. Do you see the height, how high is the triangle? So why can't I make the right side equal? Because that also is H, right? So in other words, what I'm doing is you just replace, in place of H here, this one, you will replace this part. Make sense? Or you can say, hey, here you replace this one, it doesn't matter there. So what I'm gonna do is, this one will replace, so this H, okay, replace by this H, got it? Because that H is that. So this H, so step 3, it's called equating, because both are same, right? Equating the two equations, because they both represent the same thing. So I'm replacing this H by A sine B. Let's write it. So this A sine B equals, what should I write? So in place of H, what did I write? I just get it, are you with me? Little kind of confusion, right? Too many letters, too many variables. So this part equals that, right? Both are H. So the right side should be equal to this one. Make sense? Left is the same. So A sine B equals B sine A. Right? Do you agree? And finally, now what we do is, we will try to get something like this. So this part, the sine A which you write here is, let's write one step A times sine B equals B times sine A. And I don't want the sine A to be up there. I want the sine A to be. Can you do undo cross product? So this is called undo cross product. I think there was no need for me to write this step. Can you do undo, use, so from here I want to write undo cross product. What does that mean? What is cross product? So if you forget, A over B is C over D, can you see that? So cross product means you multiply this two, yes or no? And then you multiply this two, agree? That is B times C. So when I say undo cross product means they gave you that, can you get that part? So it's like going backwards. Agree? So what I'm gonna do is this sine B. So this is the one. So this part, this D. Do you see this D? So that D is right here, or this D goes here, and this B goes here. Agree? You see why teachers don't do all this too much, right? Okay, so the thing I'm trying to say is, okay, the trick is like this. So undo cross product basically means, let me use this part, okay? This is what is multiplies, goes this side down, can you see what I'm doing? And then the orange color, let's say this part, you multiply this side. I mean, it gets divided. So undo cross product. So this A stays there up there. So A divided by this A stays. And this sine A is divided on the left side, sine A. Yes or no? Equals this B stays. And then this orange color sine B goes down, so sine of, and remember the angle B is, I always use the blue color. Do you see that? So, and I call this step as, this is the important one of the equation you see, A over sine A is B over sine B. Now, how did we end up getting this form? What was the angle that we picked up in this example? Which angle did we use here?
Opposite angle. Like
No, in the step 1 and 2, do you see what are the angle that we use?
A,
And here?
B.
So because you use AB, you got this kind of expression, right? So can you tell me if so I'm writing step 4. If angle B and angle C was picked, then what expression would you get? So what I'm trying to say is, if I had to take off this one, okay, height, and in place of that, I picked B and C, so B is here, C is right, and then you draw perpendicular this way. Can you see this part? So it's kind of, you are using, you could have used, the one that we did was A and B, agree? Nobody say yes.
Yes.
But, of course, we are not going to do that. But just, we can always generalize and say, hey, if we had to drop a perpendicular from A and all the way on the B, C, then how would be the expression look like? So it was B and C was used. How do we write this part? And we are done, almost done. So instead of say this lowercase a, right? B, B. So if this was used, then what do you write? What should I write? Start here. Start with what? Okay, I'm gonna write it. It has to be something up, down, right? So if I had to use uppercase, the angle, this one and that one, look at this.
Lowercase b over sine.
Yeah, lower, because
Oh, no, yeah.
We picked the angle B, so locus B and then
Sine
sine of B, correct?
equals C.
And the other one locus C and sine of.
C.
I'll tell you the truth, nobody cares about this. Nobody asks also why, where you got this formula from. Now, as you leave this class, I really want you to also take away, okay, now that we know why this formula, right? And then we apply it. So the sine rule basically is, they have to give you two angles always, otherwise we can't do nothing about it. Okay? So this one, B over sine B is C over, and then look at this thing. Okay? And we can use a transitive property, means what? If x is y and y is z, then x has to be what? X equals y equals z, agree? It's called transitive property, or the x becomes z, everything becomes equal, right? Yeah? I'm just finishing. Do you get what I'm doing? Nathali? This side? So what we say is from these two boxes help us to get this, okay? And now we got this. Now we can call this as 1 maybe or 2, and we can combine this together, and combining this two, ha ha ha. Do you agree? So this one says A sine A is B sine B. This one says B sine B is C sine C. So all three are same. Make sense? Okay? So that's all I wanted to show, and we'll do one problem quickly. One example, how do we use this? Okay, I'll pull out. I'm gonna pass this. So we will do one problem together. Did I give you the handout? No? You did not get? Okay. So the first, let's, huh?
That's 5.4, 3.
This is 5.5. 5.3 and 5.4 is done, so you should be finishing that in the same age. So let's do 5. Yeah, quickly, as I get ready with my thing, I'll clean this out. So do you have a packet, yes or no? Write your name. Let's do one problem in the class as an, huh? Okay, the first one, as I clean the board, get ready for the problem, you can think of, hey, what's A, what's B? Like, don't just figure out yourself. If you can find out, that would be great. Even before I show you, you try yourself first, okay? Could you figure out, did they give you two angles there? Or one angle?
For the first one?
Yeah, for the first one?
They gave us 2 angles.
Yeah, two angles. And anything else? Did they give you one side? The side length of any of the side is given? No? Can you read the question? Without the side given, we can't do nothing. Should we complain to the Sangesh? Okay. Just a moment. So let me quickly this. Are you sure they didn't give you the, can I say? Yeah, you see there is a, assume A is 100, do you see the lowercase?
So would that be the side plate?
Yeah, that's the side.
Oh.
So let me pull
A
out.
of 8.
Okay, is this the one? Okay, let me make it bigger, right, so that you can see clearly. So I want you to figure out yourself, what is that A, B, C. I want you, in your notebook, can you at least write down which is A, B, C? See, they give you A, right? Uppercase A, so that's lowercase. And the A is given, what is the A is given? Can you write 400 right there? So let's make sense out of it. Then they also gave us, these two angles are given, can you see that? Now, this is uppercase C, and that means this is lowercase c. Can you see that? So they gave you X. Stupid, right? They should have given a C. I don't know why they give it, make it more. Anyways. Then if this is B, what is this one? And actually it is lowercase b, but they didn't ask us that question, so I'm not even going to write that. Makes sense? So if you see in the formula, okay, even though there is a b and put a cross, see, we don't want that because they didn't question us there. So what I will avoid is, even though this is there are three parts, 1, 2, 3, you have to use only 2 parts. So either you use this two, or you use this two, or you use this two. So which one do you think we should pick? Should we, remember, we don't want to use B, right? Because I just put a cross, they didn't give us. So the question is asked, what is this? You know these two angles, right? So do we use the first two, the last two, or the first and the last? Very good, let's write that. So everybody write down. So sine rule, so we will pick A over sine of A equals C over sine of B. Is that okay? Nobody saying yes? Can you say? Agree? So we all have to know that why did we pick this one? What happened to B? Because we don't want nothing to do with B, right? So let's plug it in. What is given is 400, let's put it 400. Divide by sine. Did they give us what is A? How much is A? See, now they give you in point form, right? Where did we see this? So it's 98. So let's do this together. Then from the Cengage you can do with your own problem, right? So, but one problem we have to understand, no matter what. You see, there are so many nice, beautiful problems later on. If there is a kind of a, there is a hill like this, on the hill there is a tree. And then how do you figure out what is the tree knowing some angle? So that's cool, kind of one example. So this is 98.4, okay, equal.
So when you do it in the calculator, obviously we'd have to solve it in the calculator.
Yeah, for this part has to be worked out, but we have to use calculator.
Would you put degrees for the 98.4?
Yeah. That's a good thing you told me, yeah. Because sometimes if it is by default, the calculator is already always in radians, but when we are putting in the calculator, we'll see that. We'll come to that. So C, do we know C? Oh, we don't know, right? So that's X. Divide. Do you agree with me, guys?
Yes.
He's taking a picture. Okay. What about C? Do we know C?
No.
Oh, haha, we don't know. But can we figure it out? Figure it out by knowing the other two angles. What do you do? Take out your calculator, what do you do? All this triangle, let's see this part, there's one arc. I always like to put 2 arcs. See, one arc, they are all different, If you put same arc, it means the angles are same. We don't want the angles to be same, they are all different. So if this is 24.6, 98.4, you have to add up, and what?
And subtract 180.
Yeah, so just a scratch work here. So then I'll write down the scratch work. What is the scratch work? 98.4 and 24. Use the calculator. Take out your black calculator and.
It's 57 degrees.
Huh?
57 degrees.
Oh, you already worked out?
Yeah.
But use the black calculators. Let's really get inspire.
Or add them?
Yeah, first you add the 2, 98.4 and 6, and of course this becomes 0, and you can add 1. 9 plus 4 is 13, right? Correct. And then 1, 10, 10 and come 12, is that correct? And then from 180 you can, of course you have to use calculator, I don't want you to break your head here. And you get 57 as she said, correct? So on your paper, let's write down this 57 right here. Okay? So they did give you two angles at one side, and of course by default you can see it's ASA also. It's become ASA kind of thing. See, I was talking about ASA. So this, if they give you two angles and not included side, we can make it like a ASA. That's what that means. By subtracting, do you see how what happened? How it worked is, even they give us the two angles, and not, this is called included between the two angles, but the side that was given was not between the two angles. But you can always figure out a third angle and make it like, hey, now we know this is between the two angles. So when you have, if this is given, we can always write it this way, ASA. Make sense? Jaslyn is thinking, hello? Okay, and then, so what do I put here? 57, right? And then next is everything calculator does. Only thing you have to solve for x, so multiply. You don't want this, so this has to be taken away. How do you take away this? How do I take away this? The down. Both sides, what do? Multiply.
Multiply both fractions?
Yeah, the left side will keep it as it, don't do nothing. But see, there's a variable is up in the numerator, so you need to solve for x. So what do I multiply those?
So multiply by 57?
57 or sine? It's together, remember? It's sine, it's one thing, entity. Okay, so multiply sine of 57. Is that okay? And not that, you have to also multiply by? Nobody's saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, now let's see how to use the calculator. I want to make sure I'm writing that. So this, so that basically your x is that whole stupid thing, right? So I'm gonna write that x equals, so you're supposed to write sine of 57 degree, then times 400, and then everything divided by sine 98.4. Take out a calculator, black calculator, Inspire. Let's use that. Can I clean this off with your permission? Misael, can I clean this off? Now the only thing is how to use the calculator, right? So let me pull up my calculator. Okay, here it is. Inspire CNCS Premium. Did you get it? Okay, so then let me pull my calculator. There it is. Okay, so click on the, put it on, use the calculate. Ready? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, black calculator, come on guys. This, you don't have, just grab, or you take from my bag. There's one. Can you give her also? You have it, right? Nathalie, where is your calculator?
I got it.
Pick one from there.
You can share with me.
Okay. So, pick the calculator. At the same time, you guys go. Let me also correct.
No, sorry.
Okay. So if you see, click on the home first. Did you do? Click on the home here, and you get a calculator. Then how do we do? What is the first step? You have. Do you see there's a numerator and denominator? Yes or no? So where do you go?
Fraction.
Yeah, go to this one, right? Click on it, and you go fraction. Got it? So far, so good. Oh, there you go. Then go up there. You go, and then you see we have to have sine 15. So first of all, click on the trig here. Click on the sine and the angle. How much is the angle? 57? Yeah. Where did I write? I made a mistake here. Right? I have to go inside and click that sine. Okay. Sine, and what is that? 57? Yes or no? Now, better to put in degrees because I don't want you to mess up. How do we get that degrees is control and that thing, see? And when you go up here, there's a degrees and just click like that. There you go. Yes or no?
Yes.
And then we have go click outside, right click and multiply by 400. So write 400. Then go down again, read. And again sine, and what is the angle this time? 98.4, right? And remember, don't enter because we want to actually,
You have to put it in.
yeah, control and enter.
No degrees on that one?
Say it again.
No degrees on that one?
You have to put that one in degrees too, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So click on the control and that thing, and click again here. See that? The small zero there. Or you could make it everything in degrees also, and then you don't have to do all the time. Last time I showed you, go to the setting, change the whole document.
And then we press control enter.
She said, Rebecca, you're talking, just tell us. Was there going on in your mind?
Yeah.
Dang, she said, Rebecca is slacking. Just do the damn problem, she said. Just don't tell us the old story. So, here. Control and enter. Did you get the same answer?
Yes.
Did you understood how to go about? No, listen. This is just one problem, right? What is important is how did we get, what were the two angles, what was the question? And it's listen, it's the same thing for all this problem, which will continue. So in your Cengage homework, please continue doing 5.5. It's open. And by now, 5.3, 5.4 should be completed. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for being part of this. I'm gonna post this video in the link in the Google Classroom. You can always check this again in case you are confused. Okay? Thank you.